chào mừng tất cả quý vị. Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã tham gia cùng với chúng tôi từ Áo. Xin
all our fellow Southeast Asians who are here in the region joining us. It's fabulous to see you. I know a lot of people are still joining, so we'll keep waiting a little bit for all of them to join. And so they're not missing out on anything I'm going to say, which is super important, which are basically going to be the housekeeping rules and a lot of a couple of presentations that are coming up. As you can all see, the people, our participants are coming in. So once again, to everyone who has not heard my voice before, who hasn't seen me before and is now listening to me, a very, very warm welcome again from here, from Manila. My name is Christina Stieber. I'm heading Advantage Austria Manila here in the Philippines, and I'm excited to be your host this morning or this afternoon, depending on where you are here on the globe, for the first ever Austrian Technology Days Southeast Asia. So welcome again to everyone. And as I said, right here, I said Austrian Technology Day. So you absolutely heard correctly. We're not just going to have one Austrian Technology Day. No, we just make it very extensive. We're going to have 3 of them because we're going to discuss and discover 3 different areas, sectors of technologies that are important here for the people in the region, and also technologies where we think we can showcase you something that Austrian companies are good at, showcase you solutions that Austrian companies came up with. And most of all, you are also going to listen to experts from Austria and also experts here from the region to share with you what they think are what is the current situation here, what is going to be the future when it comes to these technologies. And the technologies are water, and we start with water management and flood prevention today. It's all going to be about waste, and tomorrow, and then it's smart urban technology on the 3rd day. So again, everybody, the ones who are joining right now, again, very much a warm welcome to every one of you, and I'm glad you could make it today. You signed up. We had so many participants signing up over the last couple of weeks. So, and I also got the email alert when new ones signed up. So that was, you know, every time in the morning, every day was a high when I was like, woo, fabulous. Another big crowd of participants coming up. Well, everybody who joined, and you probably got a couple of emails regarding this anyway, there is a possibility for you to meet up with other participants. We have the B2B meetings following all the panel discussions here and the expert presentations. So if you haven't done that yet, through the link that you signed up with, you have the profile you created, you also, you know, you can speed date, kind of, you know, it's like the professional kind of, well, Tinder, you know, you look at something or, you know, a technology, a company that looks interesting to you, and you request a meeting. So please do that. Take advantage of this possibility to have so many companies here close together and signing up for the technology days today. So take advantage of that and, you know, interact, get to know new people, new solutions, new technologies, and new innovations. So I did a lot of talking, and I guess most of our participants already joined at that point. And so it's my honor to ask Alexander Unkert on the virtual stage to officially open the Austrian Technology Days Southeast Asia 2022. And Alexander Unkert is representing our Federal Ministry for Climate Action, Environment, Energy, Mobility, Innovation, and Technology. Big, long name, important topics, important sectors, everything we're going to talk about the next couple of days. So Alexander, you know, you got the key to open it up. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. As already mentioned, my name is Alexander Unkert, and I'm talking to you today on behalf of Mr. Gernot Grimm, who is the director of the international section in my ministry, who unfortunately cannot be here today with us. As Christina already mentioned, we are with the Austrian Federal Ministry of Climate Action, Environment, Energy, Mobility, Innovation and Technology. I know it's a pretty long name. We just leave it and call it BMK. So a new year just started, and the year of the tiger is about to begin. In these auspicious times, we are glad to present the Austrian Technology Day together with the Austrian Federal Chamber of Commerce, the Austrian Research Promotion Agency, and of course, all of you, our partners all over Southeast Asia. Of course, we would have loved to organize this event in person, but the pandemic is preventing us to come to you and visit your beautiful countries. On the other hand, of course, online events allow us to conduct this event simultaneously in 6 countries. And also online, we found great topics for the next 3 days. Water management and flood prevention today, waste management and waste to energy technologies tomorrow. And on Thursday, we're going to focus on traffic solutions. And I truly believe there is a great potential for cooperation here. This event is organized as part of the TECXPORT initiative. TECXPORT is a program launched by my ministry in order to showcase Austrian technologies. The key solution is our online platform, www.texport.at. You can see it up here. And it includes technology profiles of Austrian companies in several languages. It's actually quite cool. Just imagine I tell you here, there's an Austrian company offering the solution that you need. How would you find that company? If you don't know the company's name, it will be very hard to find it. So on this platform, we focus not on the companies itself, but on technologies. Meaning on the platform, you have tools to look for the technology that you need, for the solutions that you really need. And if you find what's of interest to you, then you also find the company. And this TECXPORT initiative also allows us to perform Austrian Technology Days, which we're having today. The following 3 days, we want to focus on starting collaborations, not through presentations of companies, but again, by presenting technologies. Find the technologies you're interested in and then contact the company. There are options for B2B meetings. Christina already mentioned it before. But today also marks another enjoyable occasion. Already during the preparation of the Austrian Technology Days, the Austrian Technology Corporation, ATC, which is a cluster of Austrian technology companies, and the Thai Digital Economy Promotion Agency, DEPA, which is one of our partners in our event, decided to sign a Memorandum of Understanding in order to promote cooperation in the field of environmentally friendly urban development. This shows there is a will to cooperate, and I truly hope that more collaborations will emerge because of these Austrian Technology Days. So let's focus on a successful event, and I hope to be able to visit your country soon and meet you in person. And having said all this, thank you very much, and I give back to Christina. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Alexander. And you mentioned something I'm just going to pick up. You know, you mentioned a couple of times at the end, collaboration. And this is what we're going to focus on right now, because there's going to be a signing. And you see my colleague in Thailand, Bangkok, already lining up here. It's going to be a signing of a Memorandum of Understanding. And I'm very excited about that, which gives a dash of, you know, like officiality and something major that is going to happen here today. So I'm very happy, and I'm going to leave the floor now for the main actors of the signing of this Memorandum of Understanding between DEPA, which is the Digital Economy Promotion Agency in Thailand, and ATC, Austrian Technology Corporation. Thank you.
Okay. That's it.
I think it's now
Yeah,
your
thank
turn to
Okay.
give a short remark.
Yes. Thank you very much. Myself is Notapol Niman Pacharin, the President and the CEO of the Digital Economy Promotion Agency from Thailand. First of all, I would like to give a big thank to all the colleagues that will be involved to the MU signing ceremony today. On behalf of the Thailand, we're trying to drive the smart city really tough and very hard over the last 2 or 3 years. And we exhibit and formulate a kind of the new mechanisms of these countries. As you know, the smart city are well-known in many definitions around the world. So for Thailand, we are looking forward for the livable cities or the quality of life of the people or the citizens of Thailand. And we also divide the smart city into 2 types of the smart city. One is going to be a new city, and second is going to be the existing city for the livable cities. And both of types of the smart city, we are looking forward for the collaboratives between the Thailand and the Austrian to help and to bring a new technology and a solution to the countries. On the beginning of the relationship or the collaborative since 2018, we know the Austrians have a lot of the knowledge and also have a lot of the technologies. We also thinking that how can we transfer the technology from Austrians, and also how can we get a collaborative. And today it's going to be the starting point of the DEPA or the Digital Economy Promotion Agencies and the ATCs to starting the collaborative project in terms of the knowledge transfer and the experience and learning to experience to bring up the smart city that we successfully managed from Austrians into Thailand. And finally, I would like to give a big thank to all the colleagues, both of the Austria and in Thailand also for this to make it happen for the MOU signing ceremony. Thank you very much. And hopefully we're going to have a great job in the future. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Greetings from Vienna. My name is Tino Terraneo, and I'm the head of ATC Austrian Technology Corporation. I would like to very briefly introduce ATC to all of you who do not know this cluster. It was formed more than 20 years ago by the Austrian government for Austrian technology firms in order to promote their technologies in other countries. And we also included Austrian export financing banks, infrastructure operators, education training facilities, as well as Austrian research institutes. And due to this broad network, ATC is the perfect counterpart in smart city corporations. And I'm very proud that more than 5 years ago, we have concluded the first cooperation in a smart city, in the field of smart cities, with the Hong Kong Smart City Consortium, which was the first they concluded with a foreign partner even before mainland China. And today is another milestone because this cooperation we have just signed with our partners in Bangkok with DEPA will definitely promote and boost the relations between both countries with exchange of technologies and know-how. And I'd like to take the opportunity to thank not only the organizers, which made it possible that we can have this fabulous event today, but also our new partners in Thailand with DEPA. And I'm very much looking forward to a continuing and fruitful cooperation in the future. And I'd also like to thank our Austrian colleagues sitting in Bangkok who made it possible and who initiated this cooperation, which is remarkable in these very difficult times where travels and exchanges are more or less restricted. So thank you very much from my side. I'm very much looking forward for the cooperation, and I wish all of us a very fruitful event. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again to everyone who was there very actively signing. Thank you. I hope you all played some kind of trumpets and fanfares there. Thank you again also to my colleague in Thailand here. Fabulous, and thank you for making this a very official event by signing that. And I hope that this MOU that you just signed will serve as a guiding light for others MOUs to come up in the future here in the region. So to all my other colleagues here who are listening to us, a big shout out. We can do that as well. I think so. So let's work on that. But thank you again to everybody, especially thank you for honoring this first day of the ATDs with signing an MOU. Thank you so very much. And now, you kept the fanfares and trumpets running in your head. Keep on with that, because now it's on to our first keynote speaker for today. And I'm super excited to introduce you to Christian Walder. Christian is not only one of the smartest guys that I know, but he's also one of the most engaging proponents when it comes to water management, sustainable water management, and sanitation. So even if you follow him on LinkedIn and also get to read his posts and his articles, especially the one on sanitation, a toilet for everyone in the world, that kind of changed my world and my perspective. So here he is, Christian. It's fabulous to see you. For everyone who doesn't know Christian yet, and I'm sure after that you will remember him forever, Christian currently works as the water supply and sanitation specialist at the Asian Development Bank. Sorry, but he is Austrian, and he was also secondee of the Austrian Ministry of Finance to the Asian Development Bank here, and that's how I got to know him. And I know he is an excellent professional. He is super smart. I said that already, and he will provide you with insights for the region, where you actually, take out a pen, make notes, because you will understand the situation that is here in the region in Southeast Asia much better after listening to him. Christian has worked in the private sector before, so what he's talking about has not just oh, he's a theoretical thing. Okay, no, he has hands-on experience, and especially in ADB, he is responsible for project management from the beginning to the end. So he really is someone you should listen to and follow on wherever you can find him, whatever he has. So just for full disclosure, and to make his appearance today even more remarkable, he is fighting COVID right now. So, but you don't see it, he looks fabulous as always. And I'm gonna give the floor now to you, Christian. I'm very excited to listen to what you have to say today. Thank you, and thank you for being our keynote speaker today. Thank you, Christian.
Thank you so much, Christina, and everyone, and for your very kind introduction. You set the bar very high. I tried to meet the expectations, but I'm really looking forward to the speech now and to the presentation now. I just tried to share my screen, and I hope you will be able to see it. Is this working, Christina? Maybe you can give me a quick thumbs up.
Yes, it's working perfectly. Thank
Excellent.
you, Christian. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much again for your kind introduction. And really, it's my great pleasure to be with you today for the Austrian Technology Days, Southeast Asia. My name is Christian. I'm a water supply and sanitation specialist currently working with ADB's water sector group. And in the next 10 to 15 minutes, I would like to set the context a little bit. We have heard some very interesting interventions from previous speakers on the importance of technology, on the importance of sustainable water management. And I want to set the context a little bit, provide you with an overview about what is the current water situation in the region, in Asia and the Pacific. I want to highlight some of the key publications that we were doing within the Asian Development Bank. And I trust and I'm confident that this will be a good starting point, a good platform for further discussion as part of the Austrian Technology Days, Southeast Asia. So what I am planning to do is to have, let's say, 3 key topics in the next 15 minutes. First, I would like to kick off with presenting ADB's goal to achieve a water secure and resilient Asia and the Pacific. And this is mainly focused on one of our flagship publications, which is the Asian Water Development Outlook. And as I said, this gives an excellent background, an excellent baseline for water management activities in our developing member countries across Asia and the Pacific. Then I would like to talk about disaster resilience and flood prevention, which is one of the key priorities for ADB lending and for ADB projects. And I will finish off with a kind of outlook about ADB's work in the next 10 years, ADB's water sector framework 2021 until 2030. And having a kind of understanding about, let's say, priorities in the region, but also priorities from our institution, I think that this is important also for companies, from Austrian companies who are interested to work in the region and even want to participate in projects that are being financed by Asian Development Bank or other international financing institutions. So to kick off with the Asian Water Development Outlook, this is really one of our flagship publications in the ADB water sector. It assesses the national water security of all 49 developing member countries in Asia and the Pacific. This is a very comprehensive publication, and we define national water security as the availability of adequate and sustainable quality of water to ensure really that people have access to this sustainable source and that they can meet their daily needs. The national water security, the definition is made out of 5 key dimensions, and you see them on the slide here. We have key dimension 1, which is rural household water security, key dimension 2, economic water security, key dimension 3, urban water security, and then key dimensions 4 and 5 with environmental water security and water-related disaster security. This means all those 5 elements where there is a comprehensive methodology behind, all those 5 elements make up the national water security of a particular country. Why I'm emphasizing this, yeah? Let's say the result of the particular assessment, because all the results that I'm presenting you today are based on either national data, on government data, or based on international data, just, such as the joint monitoring program, which is also monitoring SDG 6. All this information really can help the countries to improve their water management in their respective circumstances. They can identify particular challenges and needs, and this can really influence government priorities and government policies in terms of the water management going forward. What is also important when talking about the Asian Water Development Outlook is that we have a track record of publications. That means the first Asian Water Development Outlook has been published in 2007, and you see following publications in 2013, 2016, and the latest edition has been published in December 2020. The methodology has evolved. Nevertheless, the principles remain the same. This means we see a development, a progress of the different countries when it comes to their water management, when it comes to improving their water security for the local people and for the local inhabitants. I've also posted the download link here. As you can see, you can just access the download link and really have a look into this report, which I would highly recommend. then when having a quick snapshot on some selected results, I think it's important to, for example, on the one hand, you see an overview about the assessment of the whole region, and you see the 5 stages, beginning with nascent, engaged, capable, effective, and model. And model stage would be the highest stage in terms of a country's national water security. And with this slide, I would like to highlight 3 key points. Yeah. On the one hand, there is only one country in Asia and the Pacific which is in a nascent stage. You see it's Afghanistan. But there is also no country which has yet achieved the model stage. Yeah, even the developed countries such as Japan, Republic of Korea, Australia, New Zealand, they have not yet reached this highest level in terms of their water security. They have reached level 4, which is effective, but not yet level 5. When talking about Southeast Asia, and I have marked this area in the slide here, you see that a number of countries are in the engaged and capable stage, which means, number 2 or number 3, you can look up the definitions in the publication, but this means that there is still a long way to go for those countries to improve and increase their national water security. And as I've said before, we have a track record in terms of the Asian Water Development Outlook, and we have published several editions. And on the chart on the left, you see the progress of the region over the last couple of years. And you see that many regions are really improving their water security. For example, in Southeast Asia, with the first chart is in 2013, the second in 2016, and the third bar is the latest edition from 2020. So you see this upward trend in terms of the national water security scores by region. Nevertheless, as I said, there is still a long way to go for those countries to really improve their water security. And there are lots of opportunities also for companies and private sector to participate in this journey and to support governments to achieve this ambitious goal. On the right-hand side, I've just marked some of the countries who have really made progress over the last 7-8 years. You see the Philippines, you see Vietnam, and there are others, and there is a long way to go really to achieve water security in Southeast Asia. Having said that, and I will quickly touch upon the topic of infrastructure investment needs. In order to increase a country's national water security, significant investments are being needed. And there was a publication from Adb back in 2017 assessing the infrastructure investment needs by sector from 2016 to 2030. And in order to let's say, yeah, and you see those 2 charts, and you see for the water and sanitation sector, 800 billion of investments would be needed between 2016 and 2030 in order to maintain the growth momentum, to eradicate poverty, and to respond to climate change in the region. So these are huge and significant numbers, and let's say international financing institutions and governments won't be able to meet those ambitious and necessary targets by themselves only. So there is a strong need to crowd in also private sector, to find ways how private sector can participate more effectively in improving the water management principles of countries across Asia and the Pacific, and specifically also for countries in Southeast Asia. Well, I just want to provide an overview about Adb Water Operations so that you see a contrast between the infrastructure investment needs. And as I said, those numbers have been published in 2017, and COVID has shuffled around those numbers significantly. So demand has likely increased in the last 2 years. But our annual lending portfolio within the Asian Development Bank in the water sector is roughly 2.8 billion. So this was these were the approvals in 2021. And you see that still a chunk goes to water supply, sanitation, and wastewater management, but the other sectors, namely irrigation and agricultural drainage, flood management, hydropower, they are also increasing. When I mentioned that we invest 2.8 billion in the water sector on an annual basis, this means that this is a great opportunity for also private companies to participate, to join, to look out for opportunities to contribute, because within Austria, there are plenty of interesting technologies there, and there are ways how we can contribute and how Austrian companies can participate in this journey. When having a slightly longer perspective, and this graph is the timeline between 2011 and 2021, you see that ADB invested 26.4
คุณก็เห็นว่าธนาคาร ADB นะครับก็มีการทำงานนะใช้งบประมาณไปมากกว่า 2.5 พัน
Và phần lớn nhất đương nhiên cũng vẫn vào là phần cung cấp nước và vệ sinh môi trường và quản lý nước, rồi cũng có.
Again, I just want to highlight that we as an organization with a significant lending portfolio when it comes to water. Nevertheless, this is only a fraction of what is needed in the water sector to improve water management in the region. And we all have to work together, and we all have to see how we can contribute and improve the water management principles in countries across Asia and the Pacific. With this, I would like to give you a quick snapshot about disaster resilience and flood prevention, and also, let's say, give you an overview about ADB's principle in this particular area. On the left-hand side, you see an outline of ADB's Strategy 2030, which is really our guiding document for our operations within the next 10 years until 2030. And the strategy, the vision of the strategy is really to achieve a prosperous, inclusive, resilient, and sustainable Asia and the Pacific. And this strategy, this high-level strategy, is broken down to 7 operational priorities, which you see on the right-hand side. And I won't talk about all of them, but you see that one operational priority is to tackle climate change, building climate and disaster resilience, and enhance environmental sustainability. This has significant implications on our lending portfolio, because it means that our water projects have to be aligned to those operational priorities. And with tackling climate change and building climate and disaster resilience, this is one of the key elements in our lending for the next 8 years to come until 2030. So just to emphasize the importance of this topic for ADB. There is also not a big surprise that this is such an important topic for ADB, because we all know that the Asian Pacific region is one of the most severely affected region in terms of disasters when it comes to floods, typhoons, but also droughts. Yeah, we must not forget also droughts as disasters. When talking about water management, there is this famous terminology of too dirty, too much, and too little. Yeah. So we always have these issues in terms of when it comes to flooding, when it comes to droughts, and when it comes to water pollution. But as I said, ADB has been working with our developing member countries for many, many years when it comes to responding to major water-related disasters. And ADB has been able to provide substantial assistance for rehabilitation and construction on a sustainable basis. I've showcased some examples on those slides. You see the Sulawesi tsunami back in September 2018, where ADB provided both grants and a loan, which has been approved very quickly in order to respond to the immediate needs of the local population. You see a picture from the Aceh tsunami back in 2004, and other pictures from Pakistan and also from the Philippines. And as you are aware, the Philippines, they just have been hit by a very strong typhoon end of December. And we see that this is such an important topic for the region, and climate change and the other global mega forces, they really exacerbate this situation, which make it very difficult for many countries across Southeast Asia to respond to those challenges. And proper planning, proper water management and flood risk management needs to be in place in order to support those countries to address those challenges they are facing. So with the next slide, I want to showcase that really the ADB approach is also changing and has changed over the last couple of years. So ADB's annual financing for flood projects for reduction and preparedness has grown from 95 million in 2011 to more than 800 million in 2020. And at the same time, and I think this is very important to emphasize, is that the approach has also changed from gray and built infrastructure to more integrated nature-based solutions. This trend is definitely keeps increasing, and the awareness of financial and economic benefits is now more fully realized. That means, this is really when we design our flood prevention projects, our flood risk projects, we follow an integrated approach. And I've just mentioned here, for example, river stabilization. We look into topics related to land recovery, flood protection, peri-urban development, environmental restoration, and others. So it's important to take this integrated and holistic perspective when talking about flood risks, when talking about drought risks. We all know that water is an integrated element. Yeah, water is everywhere, and only building the infrastructure is not sufficient. We have to see how we make the assets work. We have to closely collaborate and coordinate with the local governments, with the institution who make those assets work, who are responsible for the operation and maintenance of the assets. With my next slide, and I want to go back a little bit to the importance of technology, and this is also where private sector is coming in. We sometimes in our projects face the challenge that governments or our local partners, our local agencies, they are not aware about the latest technologies. They are not aware what is out there. They have difficulties in seeing the applications of different advanced technologies in their particular context. And this is also where we from ADB are coming in, acting as a platform and trying to link our clients, our government counterparts, to companies who can provide those technology solutions for their particular situation. For us, it's very important to promote those technologies in our projects, and I've listed some examples here. This can be rainfall forecasting, SCADA, Internet of Things, smart meters, even drip irrigation, but also remote sensing, a very important topic for many of our projects, specifically when we talk about flood prevention. We have a collaboration with the European Space Agency, and all the topic of remote sensing is really mainstreamed and applied in many of our projects. I'm mentioning LiDAR surveys, I'm mentioning mobile phone applications and big data, and even disaster risk insurance. So these are all opportunities and technologies we try to mainstream and promote in our projects. And again, we run a number of events, a number of initiatives where we try to crowd in this knowledge into our organization. And I see lots of opportunities for many companies working in this field to contribute and to really provide that technology to the local problems in Asia and the Pacific. So this is my last slide, and then I would like to close. This is a quick snapshot about our water sector framework 2021 to 2030. It's still for approval. We need the official signatures from senior management. But again, just to highlight the importance of building resilience and adaptive capacity. And you see some of ADB's targets and ambitions by 2030. I won't read this out, but just to make it clear that this is a key strategic area for the Asian Development Bank in the years to come. And we are following different approaches and actions to support our developing member countries in their water management, but also in their flood prevention. On the one hand, and I mentioned already projects, but also improving their capacity when organizing trainings, when organizing workshops, when linking our clients to companies who can provide those technologies. I'm mentioning partnerships and also innovation and digitalization. We run the e-marketplace from several times per year, where we give the opportunity to companies to present their products to a large audience with the goal to find applications also for ADB finance project. We just recently launched a new initiative, which is called Are You Water Resilient? This is brand new and again, emphasizes the importance of water resilience in the region and really highlighting that this is a key strategic priority for the Asian Development Bank. Very soon, we will be launching the Water Resilience Water Hub. So this is a kind of platform where utilities and interesting participants can join this effort and can link and can share their experiences when it comes to water management and flood prevention. So with this, I would like to close my presentation. Again, really thank you very much for the invitation. It was a great pleasure talking to you today. I have listed here my email address. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, if you want to have a follow-up conversation based on some of the points I was mentioning. And I would kindly invite you to also sign up for our social media accounts. I've mentioned here Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and we have a newsletter. Just watch out for Adb Water, and you will find plenty of information and regular updates what we're doing within our group. With this, thanks again, and Christina, back to you.
Thank you so much, Christian. And I just a follow-up on what you said. Send me an email. Actually, he replies to email. So whoever was listening to that, he really does reply to email. So it was not just something he said and it's gonna go down the train. He really does reply to that. Thank you so much, Christian. I love to listen to you, and I always learn something new. And you did not disappoint at all. You provided us with so much more insights today than I actually knew. So thank you again for that.
Thank you.
And I know you're in Austria, but let me tell you something. You are greatly missed here in Manila. I really hope you'll be back sometime soon.
Definitely.
Love to have you back here.
Looking forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Christian, get well, and the whole family as well. Stay safe. And now you're boosted and immune and whatever, but please take care of yourself and your family in Austria. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, we get from one big shot to the next here for our second keynote. I'm very happy to introduce you all to our next speaker, Mr. Tilo Leemon. He is actually currently working for the Technical University and teaching at the Technical University in Austria. But his expertise, or the things that he's going to talk about, and you should really pay close attention to, is on the one hand, hydraulic modeling of sewer networks. And I know for someone like me who's not from the field, that sounds already super technical and very exciting. But for all the listeners here who are from this field and who are working there, you're gonna be like, oh, that's the guy. That's the guy. That's the one I need to talk to. But apart from that, he is also researching and working on stormwater management and also on prognosis of flood management. And if you followed what Christian was talking before, this is one of the topics here in the region. So, we talk about something and then we bring you in the expert to really give you all the inside information and more information on that one. So you can, what Austria is doing on that, you're gonna hear what the technology is like, or the level of technology that we're working on in Austria is like, and how you can apply that technology for the challenges that we are facing here in the region. So, without further ado, at least once in a webinar, I have to say without further ado. So this is the time. And here he is already, Tilo Leemon. And we are all very honored to have you here. And we get the academic view and also the hands-on approach to Austrian technologies for flood management and water management. So thank you very much again for joining us, and we're excited to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm pleased to be with you this day, and I have to say I never got such a nice introduction. Thank you very much. So the day starts really nice. So, well, I'm going to share my screen so that you can all see. So I hope you can see my screen now. So,
yes, all perfect. We can see.
Thank you. So well, as already said, I'm working for the Vienna Technical University as well as for the city of Vienna. And I want to give you a short overview about the sewage system in the city of Vienna and the challenges we have and things we struggle. And it's we have, as I realized so in the last presentation, well, some different challenges, but also we have common challenges. And let me start what I want with a short introduction. I want to show you a little overview, give you an overview about the Vienna sewage system, about our sewer management control system that we use, and how we do it, and how we try to achieve best water pollution control and protection from surface flooding during heavy rainfall events. And that's also the key word, heavy rainfall events. The beginning, give you a little teaser and show you that also in Vienna there can happen heavy rainfall events with lots of rain. And this is from a TV broadcast in Austria. The news. Oh, sound is not so important, it's in German. It was this is all when it's 12 liters of rain in 10 minutes per square meter, and yeah, lots of water. This is from the press. And it's also maybe some people know this video. It's also on YouTube. This was a heavy rainfall event in the year 2010 in also Vienna. I don't know if the driver still drives the car, or is this already flowing? But this is what can happen if heavy rainfall events occur. This was about the meteorological survey said it was about a 50 years rainfall event. Well, some people filmed it from a cafe nearby. So, and this you already also see, well, that is dangerous. So it's not making damages to buildings and cars and things like that. It's also dangerous for the people living there. And well, as you already saw, these are challenges we are facing in Vienna. And to give you a little background, so that I can explain better how we deal with these challenges, I want to give you an overview about the Vienna sewage system. Mostly we have a combined sewer system in Vienna. That means that black water and storm water use the same sewer. And you will see a graph later about this. And a small part is separate sewer system, where normal sewage water and stormwater are separated, and the stormwater goes directly to a stream, river. The length of the Vienna sewer system is about 2,500 kilometers, and about 540 kilometers are possible for our workers, for our personnel to walk in and do the inspections in person. The others are inspected via video cameras. Connection to a sewer is about 99%. That means 99% of the households and industrial structures are connected to the sewer. But still, we also have private septic tanks, and the sewer network of Vienna is still growing. But one of the task that gets more and more important is to preservation of the renovation of the sewer system, because our oldest sewer is built around the year 1840, so, and is still working, but they need also to be repaired. We also have about 500 technical structures, like pumping stations, sewer overflows, movable weirs and slides, valve chambers, and they are also used in controlling the sewer flow to the wastewater treatment plant. About 300 measuring stations where we measure different parameters from water level to flow to also chemical parameters. And we have one wastewater treatment plant right now. There have been more there in the past decades, but there's at the moment is still only one big wastewater treatment plant, and all the sewage water from the different districts of Vienna have to get there. Capacity is about 4 million population equivalent. Dry weather flow to the wastewater treatment plant is on average 500,000 cubic meters per day, but actual flow is varying. It's on average 7 cubic meters per second, but in a rainfall event it can be much higher. The wastewater treatment plant can deal with a maximum inflow of 18 cubic meters per second. Well, but the biggest sewers, biggest collecting sewers reaching the wastewater treatment plant have a capacity of about 30 to 40 cubic meters per second. So you see there's still sewer overflow. So this is a small map where you can see the different sewage systems. Here in the pink color, this is the area we have this combined sewer system. So you see it's most of the city. The one in green in the south, and the little part in the west is the separate sewer system. And the yellow parts in the northeastern part of the city, we call it a qualified combined sewer system. It is meant there that the normal sewage water goes to the sewer, and also the storm water, but only from the streets, from the public streets where we have the high traffic load, and rainwater from the private properties. Yeah, they have to stay where they are, and they have to be drained into the ground. They have to be percolation into the ground, and no stormwater in these areas to the public sewer. You see here in the wastewater treatment plant in the south of Vienna, where everything gets together. This is a slide about the main collecting sewers and the catchments of the main collecting sewers. We have here in the northeast the so-called LDS. It's the, well, it's the left side of the Danube River. The Danube River parts here the city. It flows here from northwest to the southeast. And this side is the, we call it the left Danube collecting sewer. This is here, very big sewer. And all the wastewater, all the sewage water from this side, from this part of the city, is pumped here via this, our main pumping station. It is pumped across the Danube River and then reaches the wastewater treatment plants in free flow. Yeah, and this is also the other main collecting sewers. They're all along rivers. So we have here the Danube River, the left collecting sewer here follows the Danube River. We have here the Danube Canal, which is also former meander of the Danube River. Lots of hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago. And it's now an artificial water body. And we have the collecting sewers following this river. Here we have, going from west to east, the so-called the Wienfluss, the river Vienna. And these are one of the oldest sewer, one on the left bank and one of the right bank. They belong to the oldest sewers in Vienna, so built around 1840. And then in the south, we have the river Liesing here, and the sewer following, the collecting sewer following this river. And then here, the wastewater treatment plant where all gets together. Here on the red dot here, this is our main pumping station, as I already mentioned. And also there's our main control room where we have an overview and control the sewer network. We can move weirs and valves from this room, and we get all the information from our measuring stations and rainfall gauges. Gets together at this point, and I will get to that also later. So, okay, next slide. Yes, well, what are main goals to achieve? Of course, getting the sewage water safely to the wastewater treatment plant where it can be treated. During dry weather flow, this is most of the time not a real challenge, but it starts to get challenging when we have rainfall, and especially when we have heavy rainfall events. So we have these two goals. On the one hand, protecting the population from surface flooding so that the sewage water stays in the sewer, and also water pollution control. So let me get just back a little bit here. We have a sewer overflows along the Wien River and also along the Danube Canal, and only one here, the Danube River. It's also here where the main pumping station is. And yeah, you'd have to get these goals together somehow, and that is what we do with our sewer control management. and you try to use the storage capacity of the main collecting sewers. And when I talk about main collecting sewers, I mean these here, the LDS, and here the RHSAK, WSAK, and here. And you try to use storage because the capacity, we have valve chambers, so that the sewers are separated into chambers that we can fill. I have a slide on that a little bit later. And try to set storage levels, and yeah, try to fill this storage room. And if it is too much, we have set up operation modes. If a storage level is reached, still inflow is coming, then we have to overflow it to a water body if there is the risk of flooding the street. Additionally, we also build storage basins and storage sewers, and where we can store the rainwater until the rain is over. So this is one of our strategies: use the storage capacity of the already existing sewers, build new storage basins where it is necessary, but also limit stormwater discharge to the sewer. So if you build a house in Vienna these days, you have to come to us first and ask if you can discharge stormwater from your private property to the sewer. And there we have different zones in the city where where it is not allowed, or where only a part is allowed. And then you have to plan your house or your technical structure or your industrial structure, and use percolation to the ground, percolation structures, or storage structures for your own, so that you have and use a throttle control, that not all the rainwater is discharged to the sewer at once. So the idea is as little stormwater to the sewer as possible and reasonable. On the next slide, I have an overview about storage capacities of the sewers, the main collecting sewers. Just to get an impression that these are huge amounts of capacities that we can use only through control of the flow, the discharge in the sewers. So I had to speed up a little bit. So this is what I meant about control system. We have here the main collecting sewer and separate the incoming sewers into different chambers, through these valves. And these we can move and control from our control room. And normally they are set on automatic mode, but we can still use it, we can still overrule it manually. And so this is the idea, and not to let sewage water into the water body, but if a certain storage level is reached, and there's the risk of flooding the street, then it's still, the water goes to the water body. So this is just an example of one of the sewers, storage sewers at the Wienfluss, at the river Vienna, which comes from west to east. Okay, yeah. And this was built below the river, about 20 to 30 meters below the river, and all the sewer overflows that formerly flooded the river are now going to the storage sewer. So yeah, this is an overview about all our technical structures, and here is our main control room, and this is where all the information gets together, and people here on the screens can see it and can act if it is necessary. Precipitation measuring, weather forecast, all these are.
I'm sorry. I know I'm butting in here, and my apologies on that.
Time is over.
If you could, we could close it up in about a minute or so.
Yes,
so
yes.
Yeah,
I'm at the
perfect.
end.
Thank you so much. Sorry again for butting in.
It's always, I'm always forgetting time. Sorry. Yeah, precipitation measuring, weather forecast. These are inputs to our decisions, control, and also now the last. This is an overview of all the different zones from limitations for stormwater discharge to the sewer. We have set up such a plan, and you see it's not so easy. There are really different zones because the sewer system of Vienna, it's developed through centuries and decades, and yeah, that's it's easy to set up such a limitations, but we use the our hydraulic models to calculate these values. And to finish now, just a few pictures of how built also a city could like green infrastructure to put as little rainwater as possible to the sewer, and also in highly densely built areas. And this is just a few pictures from our last storage basin that we built. And with these pictures, I want to finish my presentation. Thank you very much. And sorry again for taking so much time.
No, please don't be sorry at all. You know, now when it was getting interesting, you know, with the structures, you know, that we were speeding up. But I really hope that, you know, that everybody was listening to us. You know, I don't know if you're going to share your email address to us, but if you're listening to us and or, you know, we're listening now to Mr. Tilo Leemon speaking, and you still have questions, either you find him on his LinkedIn profile, or you're just gonna find us here in the offices of Advantage Austria. And if you have a question, just shoot us an email, and we'll be happy to forward this email to Mr. Lehmann so he can reply to you and share maybe some more videos of Vienna underwater. So you know, then it's a common sight here in the region, and we know that, but it was also heartwarming to see that things like this also happen in Vienna every once in a while. So thank you again for joining us. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, and this the last update on what's happening back home in Vienna. Thank you so much. And now, you know, I know you've been waiting for that, because now we're gonna have a crowd of people joining us here on the screen, and I'm very excited to have 4 speakers here with me, 4 experts that we handpicked here in the region, in our countries, in the Philippines, in Indonesia, in Thailand, and in Vietnam. And we handpicked them because we want to hear from them. We talked to, you know, we had Christian talking about what ADB is doing and giving us an overview of the region as such. Then we had the Viennese sewer experience right there, but now we bring it home. We bring it home to everyone who's living here in the region. And I'm very happy to be joined. I'm very excited to be joined by a couple of fabulous people, among which is my dear friend, young Tilo. I mean, he is the expert when it comes to water and water management here in the Philippines, but he's also a fierceful tree planter, as I know, I can tell you. He's planting more trees than I do when we go up there. But, and he's also, as you can see in the back, he is also a fabulous singer. But this is not what you're gonna do today, Young. You're gonna talk about your experience here in the Philippines. We are also joined by Mr. Frank Pogada. He is the Vice Chairman of EuroCham and Vietnam's Green Growth Sector Committee and the head of Water Working Group Hello, Mr. Fogada, I can see you. Oh, by the way, I forgot to introduce Yang. See, I'm talking about your tree planting, and then I forget to tell everybody what you're actually doing right now. He's the head of our utilities consulting here in the Philippines, but he's been with water all his life. And if you check him out on LinkedIn, you're gonna be like, your jaw dropping and say, oh my God, this guy looks so young and he has already done so much. So I'm great to have you here. Then from Thailand, I hope our participant from Thailand is here. Tara Sukapun. Yes, he's here. Fabulous to see you, sir. Very good afternoon here from Manila over to Thailand. And our last participant is from Indonesia, Mr. Abdul Malik Sadat Idris. Yay! Here, when we talk about trees, Yang, here we go. Here we got the tree. Here. Here we got the tree. Fabulous. So great to have you all. Thank you so much. Also on behalf of the organizers here, on behalf of all the participants, and there are more than 100 online. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for joining us for this panel discussion, which I also have the pleasure and be excited to host. And I just wanted to kick off our panel discussion. We've heard about now from Christian the initiatives that ADB is doing, and where ADB sees there's a requirement in general for the region when it comes to water management, flood prevention. And then we got the Viennese perspective on, on flooded streets and how to prevent that. But I would like to maybe ask each and one of you, as the representative, as the expert for your country, where do you think, or what are the most pressing issues when it comes to water management and flood prevention in your respective country? And I hope it's okay with you guys if I start by, clockwise from how I see you on the screen here with me. And so that would be actually Yang, maybe you could take the first floor. Thank you so much, Yang.
Thank you too, Christina. It's a pleasure to be here with the rest of the speakers. The presentation and keynotes made earlier are very familiar to me in terms of challenges. And in the Philippines, you can look at our current challenges in 3 categories. There's technical, financial, and regulatory or political. On the technical front, we still need a lot of focus on narrowing the supply and demand gap, which, as Christian mentioned earlier, is only exacerbated by climate change impacts. And not all utilities and water managers in the Philippines are prepared for the worst of climate change. We don't even know the extent at which the country will be impacted by climate change in the future. In terms of operational efficiency, a lot of the utilities in the country still experience high NRW levels, as well as poor water quality monitoring, not just within the network, but also in source waters. And that also speaks to the very low wastewater coverage that we have in the country today, which stands at about 5% of the population being connected to a sewer network. And in Metro Manila, we're only beginning to ramp up the sewer network from its current 10% coverage. So there's still a lot of room to do in wastewater and sewerage. In terms of the financial issues, we now know that the investment requirement from 2019 to 2030 to achieve universal access to water and sanitation in the Philippines is about $19 billion. And we're nowhere close to that investment requirement on an annual basis, and even all the way to 2030. And COVID has severely set us back on our investment priorities. Coupled with that is the problem of creditworthiness of utilities that are not yet implementing full cost recovery and making it very difficult for them to access commercial loans from banks, for example. And finally, on the regulatory category of challenges, the primary problem in the Philippines is that we have fragmented regulatory framework and policies. We have over 30 of government agencies that are involved in water and wastewater management. That's a recipe for disaster and complexity. And we intend to streamline that by establishing the Department of Water, which has long been planned to rationalize and streamline the current complex regulatory landscape. So this year, we're going to have our presidential elections, and we hope that the next administration will pass this legislation as a priority.
Thank you, Yang. I was actually kind of hoping the list of challenges would not be that long, but
there's a lot.
Yeah, actually, you summed it up pretty nicely, especially the fact about climate change and how severely the Philippines are going to be impacted by climate change. But I think this is also something that everybody else here on the panel for their country will probably have, in one way or the other to deal with. I know Vietnam, Frank, is also a country that, according to recent statistics, is going to be highly impacted by climate change. So I'll just hand over right away to you, Frank. How, following also the short description of from Yang about the challenges, how do you see, or how do you perceive challenges in this sector of water and water management in Vietnam? What is the current state of the art in Vietnam?
Yeah, thank you, Christina. Well, I very much agree to Mr. Yang Villa. The problems and challenges in Vietnam are pretty much the same. As you just mentioned, the climate change is posing a severe threat to the Vietnamese water sector. And there is a long list of open issues that need to be tackled. First, and this is also comparable to Mr. Yang Villa's statements, the legal framework and the preconditions for water and wastewater management in Vietnam are not very good, actually. There's a lot of contradiction, there's a lot of overlapping, there are lots of institutions and authorities dealing with water issues, and they can hardly agree on a common outlook. So this is something that has to be done. The legal system, the regulations have to be streamlined. This, for example, as an example, goes for the reuse of water, of wastewater. This is something that many, for example, factories would like to do. They would like to treat their wastewater up to a high standard and then reuse it in industrial facilities. According to the Vietnamese legal system, this is still impossible. Another issue is the increased salinity of the water sources, raw water sources in Vietnam, be it the surface waters, be it the groundwater. So I think we will have a big need here for solutions that would be membrane and reverse osmosis technologies, for example, something that I know Austrian companies can offer. That's definitely a market. We have a new topic coming up in Vietnam, which is stormwater management. And this also opens lots of business opportunities to Austrian companies. We will need a lot of consultancy here, but we will also need the hardware and the supplies that are suitable for stormwater management. And last but not least, the Vietnamese water supply companies are not very much developed on water safety planning. This again is actually a consultancy problem, but they are not yet prepared to deal with the many challenges that are coming up with the climate crisis. Yeah? Also with the decreasing quality of the surface water. Side. I'm just mentioning one thing, which is microplastic, which is something they are not prepared for. So it's a long list of problems, and I'm pretty sure that many Austrian companies would be able to support here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Frank. Thank you. Well, it's a long list of problems I hear as well, but you know, it wouldn't be the five of us talking here if, you know, we would not believe that there are going to be solutions possible. So I think let's talk about the challenges, but also, you know, at the end we all clap and we're all going to be very active and positive that we're going to find the solutions. But thank you so much, Frank, for sharing that. You both mentioned legal requirements or legal issues or, you know, regulatory issues. And I will now take the opportunity to introduce properly our next two speakers, because they're coming from that part, from the regulatory part. So I'm very happy to now not only say their name, and I apologize for not giving your title earlier, but as I hope to remedy now before I give you the floor. So as I already called to the floor, Mr. Abdul Malik Sadat Idris, he is the Director of Water and Irrigation at the Ministry of National Development Planning. This is Bappenas in Indonesia. And so maybe you could take that up, and maybe also in your brief statement, Mr. Sadat Idris, also touch on that, how the regulatory side is being handled in Indonesia when it comes to water and water management. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. Indonesia is among one of the first nation in Asia who overhaul the water law in 2024. Sorry, 2004. The new water law that is using integrated water resource management approach. But during the implementation, the paradigm, and especially due to the, court attempt for division between water privatization, then the law was abolished in 2015. But now our water law just been issued, the new one, the water law number 17 in 2019. So that's actually how the water issue, the water security issue become is very sexy topic for even the politician and or the people. But however,
it's good to hear that it's a sexy topic. It's really good to hear. I think everybody else here was smiling, and when you said that, thank you for using that word. Thank you.
And then basically that water law actually is really fundamental to provide the three aspects of the water management. That is the water conservation, water utilization, and water-related disaster. For instance, in terms of water-related disaster, as we talk many today, Indonesia is very prone to natural disaster due to the island countries and in the tropical and surrounding by the ring of fire. For instance, in 2021 alone, last year, during our COVID-19 pandemics, 3,500 natural disaster occurred, and 3,500, and most of them is the flood. And in the last 10 years, the flood alone is already account more than 8,000 times, impacted 20 million people. So it's really, depressing issues in the disaster, and the losses is, some economic say is around 700 million per year, US dollar. So that's what is happened, mostly because of now the climate change. I think we don't need to debate anymore. The extreme precipitation is occur. For instance, in the level of 100 or millimeter, 100 to 300 millimeter per day. That is maybe quite amount. Happen that usually in 1 month that the water just pouring down in 1 day. So that's the term of the hazard. But our vulnerability is also increased because of land use change and the urbanization. The urbanization. So I really get interested with Vienna water management. The Vienna urban water management. So what government is doing is how to increase the capacity to resilient to tackling that issues. But in the same time, in Indonesia also in the integrated waste management is tackling the water, food, energy nexus. For instance, our food security is really depend in how well the availability of water for our irrigation system, and then in the same time, our water resource provide the has number 8 potency for hydropower potential. So we need to manage and that recycle. And last but not least, we need to preserve our water resource in terms of the water resource conservation. The water quality issues, mostly due to the not yet available the city scale sewage or wastewater, domestic wastewater. Then the water quality in some in very dense cities is become worse. So now we improving the sewerage. For instance, in Jakarta, Jabodetabek area, that is 28 million of people live in our capital, our old capital, perhaps. It's the coverage of the centralized sanitation is around only 3%. So basically, most still depend on the septic tank. So we overhaul our city, but it will take quite a long time, since it will be built on the already brownfield. So we need to apply a lot of technology, for the underground infrastructure. So,
but this also gives you an opportunity to, to get or to use technology or to find solutions,
yes,
before you're actually building it and not readjusting afterward.
So the bright side is now we can learn about the mature technology that already being implemented in in particular in Austria about the urban water management. For instance, for the disaster, we can reduce the losses and how to improve our infrastructure by build back better approach. So unfortunately the presentation about how the flood early warning system work is not yet not yet explained, but that's one of key interest area, how to give the correct hydro information to the people, and how actually the city manager related with the hydro informatics. So that's one of the key aspect. And the second aspect is how actually to rebuild the city, the urban renewal in terms of the water resource or water infrastructure, since most of our city was built by the property or the transportation approach. So now we're quite suffering in terms of the water. So we like to know about how we can improve our urban water management in terms of the technology, management, financial, or any acceleration we need to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That was very comprehensive. Thank you. And now, we touched a lot of issues already, and also, you also mentioned food security, which was interesting, and the rebuilding or building a new a capital. Our last but not not least, speaker or panelist, I'm asking for a statement, for a first round of statement here, is he's executive advisor on hydrology for the Thai Royal Irrigation Department. So we have another very important representative here. And I know it's always tough to be the last one when you get to make a statement and when so many important issues and points have already been made. But we are very interested to hear the Thai perspective and what you, in a huge country like Thailand with very different issues, perceiving the challenges, the most pressing challenges in terms of water management. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Today we wanted to show you about in my country. That is very surprised that is the Philippines is look like said that is he get the more tropical storm moved to Thailand. In case of we have an extreme flood in 2011, we have the continuous storm from Philippines, around 5 storms. Continuous from the June.
We like to share. Come on, we like to share with our brothers and sisters.
What is that?
We are generous.
He get the original is another factory storm from Philippines to Thailand in that year. So we just surprised that in that year we have a look like the extreme flood. Because in the first year in 2011 we have too much storm. Normally we can get storm in Thailand in Chao Phraya River Basin only 2 or 3 storms. But 2011 we get continuous 5 storms is really too much. And maximum flow to Bangkok. Normally, in Bangkok, the capacity is around 2,500 cubic meter per second, just only to protection the city, the capacity. But in 2011, we just total of the discharge just come from the upstream around double is mean 5,000. So it's too much water, and we have a flood in the floodplain area along the Chapria River. So very important. So I think that it's very important for to explain you about the idea for to share about the water related disaster prevention measure in Thailand. We just to separate about to measure is mean structure measure or non-structure measure. I just to mention you about its mention is a mean who thinking about in the first time for the structure is mean.
Are we? Oh, let's see. I mean, from my screen, I hope a panelist here. Oh no, here he is. He got in a different one. That was.
Sorry, you're under me. Sorry.
I just saw you on a different screen.
You can hear me?
Well, yes, here we go. Here, yes, we can.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's like a woman changing the outfit. You know, you just changed your screen here.
Yes, I want to
yeah, you know, you're trying to figure out who's still listening, huh?
We have two separate. It's about we have a budget to investment for the protection or prevention. By example, is in case of upstream, downstream. We just to talk about you in my country. We have a Rongket River around 500 to 600 kilometers. It's too long. So when storm come the Philippines to my country is upstream, midstream, and downstream, we can get too much river flow. So we just to talk about you about idea to structure measure is mean we move water or water management by dam reservoir in upstream or retarding area in the midstream. Or in the stream we have a bypass or look like the we talk about by the embankment or dikes to protection the city to increase about the capacity in the river. Example, in 2011 in Bangkok, capacity in the river only 2,500. But upstream, we come from the mountain area, around 5,000 is too much. So how divide or diverge the water before the city? So we talk about the structure measure is mean. We would like to water management to save the people in downstream and people no moves in case that's it. In the other case, if we have no budget to investment for the construction, we talk about the non-structure. In non-structure, it means we need to increase station for hydrology station and rainfall station is a mountain area, look like the flood warning system. So if we have a record is very so good, so look like the radar or satellite, and that we can move the people before the flood coming. So we talk about in case of the non-structure, it means we move people. We cannot move water because the water go to the city by the river flow. So this is very important for decision making for to consider the investment construction. So because the budget is really too high for to safety the city. So how to talk about today is mean the technology very important for to decision making between how to reduce the budget. Example, we have a die to method. It means some maybe temporary die. Look like the Austria, you have some the temporary die in case of the flood. If you just a flood warning system in the next week, we can do temporary die, and then in case of no flooding, we can do change. Look like the good view for the people in the river. And in case of permanent die or permanent is the embankment is not so good for the people agree because not so good view to see the river, something like that. So I think that very important to compare in my country is now to talk about the structure measure and non-structure measure is mean. If we have a budget to investment for the dam in upstream and we talk about to bypass or floodway or cannon enlargement or embankment ice in the city. So this is mean. We talk about this case if we move water, not move people. And in case we have no budget and some river basin is no city, and we just talk about to you today is mean how to get more technology about the modeling or to get the data and to the flood warning to move the property and look like we move the people to the safety area. This means the point very important. We just to talk about is no people death. It means it's zero. It means proposed in my country. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so very much. I know you don't know that, but I already got messages from the organizer saying we're running over time. Also because we have, which is also I take full responsibility for that. So if you guys want to be angry with someone, I'll take responsibility for that as being a moderator. I know we have the B2B meetings, which are actually have started a couple of minutes ago. So I know that people might need to leave to go over to their meetings, etc. So I'm very sorry that we have to cut it short, even if there's so much that I wanted to talk with you about. And I'll just gonna overrule maybe the organizers and grant us 4 more minutes if that is okay. So because I think what I want to know in the last 4 minutes of you is particularly important for the Austrian companies and for Austrian technology providers. What is the technology? 3 points that we are now looking for here in the region, in the countries. As I said, I'm going to be bashed afterwards, but this is important to me, and I think this is important to the Austrian companies. So maybe Jan, just a really short statement. What do you think the main technologies are that are important?
3 points on technology needs. One is we need technologies that will help us decentralize, to help us improve access and coverage, especially to last mile customers, to help us tap into new and unconventional water sources, ease the burden on our legacy systems and aging assets. Number 2, we need solutions that are nature-based. So as mentioned in the earlier presentation, we need green infrastructure, for example, and more climate-sensitive planning, especially in our megacities like Metro Manila. And number 3 would be smart technologies, as everyone in the panel has reiterated that this is data-driven planning and operations is really key to efficiency and the urgency of knowing what to expect, especially with climate change around the corner.
You're my hero, Jan, as always. Thank you so much. Thank you. Frank, well, what would be from Vietnam's point of view, the most pressing technologies or technologies needed?
Okay, to put it simple and short, we will need desalination technologies for using river water, seawater, and we will need anything related to stormwater management. And as Mr. Jan Villa said, nature-based solutions, of course, this is also a very hot topic coming up in Vietnam.
Thank you. See, I knew it was important to let share that with you. Abdul Malik, how is the situation, well, from your experience in Indonesia? What would you, what is it that if you have a wish list, what would be on the wish list?
I think the number 1 list is how to digitalize our water resource management. I mean, this information technology is already there, but how actually to apply and to make it accessible to a lot of people, because we have 250 million of residents. So how to make it public information about this water management. The second technology we need is also how to, in particular, the water quality management from measurement until the process of the wastewater. And the third one, I think, is how Austrian technology can support our renewable energy development. That is the hydropower and, for instance, and the floating solar panel. Thank you.
Thank you. See, that's why you guys are very sought after experts, because you can deliver under pressure. When I'm pressuring you, you guys can deliver. Thank you so much. This is, I hope everybody who's listening still is taking notes, because what these guys are saying, that should be your business strategy. when you want to come to this region, to the market in Southeast Asia, to this huge market. So the last take notes for Tada. What is it that you can share with us?
Okay. Thank you very much. We consider it 2 points for the structure, the technology. You like to how to save the budget, to investment, to reduce the budget. Example in the dye, how the technology is very good for the dye to protection in the city. Look like in the dye is cheaper. Look like that because the budget is too high. So technology now is very cheaper, so that we need about the dye or barrier to protection the city. That is very important in the future. Look like the climate change. Look like in the case of we have the Bangkok, it's near the sea. So like the sea light in the case of the climate change. So we need to prepare about the intention about the dye in the city. And the second point, with the technology, we would like to this push modeling, to the forecasting for the flood warning. Just we would like to warning the people in exactly to the zero people don't save for the human life, so that we have a good modeling. So we just to request about the good model for to forecasting example there. Thank you very much.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Tada. Well, considering that people stayed here means that either they didn't care about the B2B meetings, or they were really enthralled by what you guys were saying and you as our experts were saying. So I really, really appreciate that. I hope there's going to be another time we're going to have a water and water technology forum. I sure know who's going to be, my rising star there again, Yang. So I'm looking at you. I'm certainly coming back to you again. So to everyone, Yang, Frank, Abdul Malik, and also Tada, thank you so very much for being available to join us on this first ever Austrian Technology Days on water and water management and flood management. It was really fabulous to have you there. It made this whole thing, for us Austrians, sometimes it's difficult to understand the situation here. You can read about it, but if you get to talk to experts like you who are willing to share their knowledge, their expertise, it adds so much more, and it becomes so much more valuable, the information that you shared. So again, thank you so very much. I wanted also all the participants who are online here and listening to us, thank you for being with us. Thank you for your time, your interest. If there is, if you want to get in touch with any of our speakers, either you find them on the socials, you find them somewhere, or as Frank did, he also shared his contact details in the chat. So take note of that. For everybody else, you can also email our offices here in Jakarta, in Manila, in Ho Chi Minh City, and in Bangkok. And it's always the city, and then at advantageaustria.org. We'd be super excited to hear from all of you. And at that point, to everyone also in Austria, to all our co-organizers who are now probably turning on their cameras just to say goodbye to everyone who's listening and who's on. Here they are. Yeah, marvelous. So also thank you so much for kicking off the Austrian Technology Days Southeast Asia 2022, which are actually a premiere. So we just made history here, every one of us. So thank you so much. If you have B2B meetings now lined up, I have successful meetings coming up. I was honored to be the moderator, the host, the mistress of, what do they call it? The master of ceremony, mistress of ceremony, or something like this. Yeah, whatever it was. I was honored to be here. Fabulous to have you all with us. Thank you so very much again. And for all questions, inquiries, don't hesitate to reach out to me and my colleagues here in the region. And thank you again to Yang, Frank, Abdul Malik, and Tada. It was a pleasure and an honor to talk to you. Thank you so much, and good day in Austria, and fabulous evening, COVID or not COVID, here in the region, in Manila, Ho Chi Minh, I think in the Jakarta and Bangkok. Thank you to all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, thank you.
Bye, thanks.